Is there any copyright-free music I can play while I wait? Guess there is. Ugh.
That working?
Mute. Is this on the right channel? Oh, it is. Just making sure. Hello, Liam. Hello, Walker. Hello, everyone. What's South Carolina? What's the weather like in South Carolina? South Carolina. How's Bora Bora? Sam? I would go to Dubai. How's the snorkeling in St. Regis? That's what I was kind of curious about. I know the Conrad has really good snorkeling, and ironically, that's gonna be tomorrow or Sunday's video. Can you limit the number of people in here? I don't know. I'm not sure if that's a thing. Will we be forced converted from the Amex cards to the Bonvoy cards on our anniversary? So I think on the 12th is when they're converting it, but that's just my understanding. It shouldn't affect the anniversary. Also, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Davis, I would file something with Amex. I feel like that's a very weird situation. It seems like a fraud situation. So if you have an SPG card, do you think you can keep it until you close it? Yes. Basically, if you have it, you have it. It's like the Ritz card or a lot of the other grandfathered cards that are going to exist. Can you change the Chase Bonvoy boundless to the Chase Bonvoy no annual fee? Yeah, that I expect you to be able to, at least. Chase Marriott or Amex SPG. Depends on your 524 status. I feel like if you only have one slot left, I probably wouldn't burn it on the SPG, but if you have like 4 slots, I'd probably grab the SPG before it goes away, because you can still get the Chase Bonvoy afterwards, assuming the 1-lane rule isn't in play. And I feel like the reason they're getting rid of the cards is to basically make sure people don't double dip certain cards. So 1-lane rule shouldn't exist, is my hope. Jess, so the 3 free nights, so those are capped nights, so it just depends on where you stay. If you're someone who stays at properties that fall under those capped nights, then that's fine. The 100K gives you a bit more flexibility if you decide to take a nice trip for your player 2. So if you wanted to do something fancy, those tend to be something like 60,000 points per night. If you have the Chase Marriott Bonvoy, can you change to the Ritz? So right now you can still change to the Ritz, but we don't know what's going to happen once it turns into Bonvoy. So if you have the Marriott card already, I would do it now before it's too late, because we just don't know. Jay, in terms of the Marriott evaluation, I think it's a bad move by Marriott, and I think that brings into question whether people should keep cards long term, depending on where they travel. But I think it still makes sense in year 1, right? Like most sign-up bonuses, you're always getting value, and that's kind of half the equation of what we're doing. In terms of keeping it, yeah, I have to look through all the properties to see if it makes sense based off where I go. But I mean, there's a lot of random ones that increased in prices, that I wouldn't go anyways. So that's not really affecting me that much. So it just depends. Kyle, is the SPG the best hotel card, or is there a different one? It really just depends on where you stay. So basically, pick the card for the property you stay at. So if you go to Hilton's, get a Hilton card, SPG. Any of the SPG card gives you the same earning rate. So yeah, and then for me and for a lot of people, there's going to be a certain point you end up having just one card from each of the hotels because the cost of each additional card isn't too much. So yeah, just depends. Kevin, no. Mortgages and cars do not count towards 524 like Brandon answered. Eric, fastest way to get lounge access would be platinum, so it would be doing the challenge. So there's I think 18 night or 16 night. I think it's 18 night challenge in 3 months. So it's going to be a bit difficult unless you are like a consultant or unless you travel a lot for that period. I guess you could maybe if you found something for $50 a night, but that's still a lot of money for that status. So it doesn't really make sense to do a mattress run. Should I get the SPG guest card or wait for the new one to come out? Once the new one comes out, you're not able to get it. So I feel like I've done a few videos on this, and that's kind of why I wanted to do a live stream. Once the new card exists, you can't get it because they're not open to new applicants anymore. My preferred hotel chain right now is, well, technically I would say JW because I think I like JW's hard products really, like they do a very good job of that. But Hilton ends up upgrading me the most to Diamond, and even though I have Platinum with Marriott, it's a hit and miss. If you have an SPG Luxury, yeah, you'll probably be sent a new card. For those of us under 524 thinking about jumping on the Amex business offer, thoughts on the 1 lane route? I'd wait to apply for the business one anyways first because the offer increases. I'll look through the terms of the cards and see whether there's language there. I did not go to Cleveland, and now I really have no intent of going to Cleveland, so Walker, so that's probably not happening. Also, if I get an authorized user card on the regular SPG, do I control their account? You're responsible for it, and any charges, I guess you can cut them off and stuff. Yeah, that's a weird question. The 100K offer for the Amex SPG, so the new Amex Bonvoy will not have an offer because it's not going to be publicly available. If you have the card, you have it. If you don't, you don't. The SPG Luxury, so the Bonvoy Brilliant one will have an offer, and that one's worth waiting for. But again, like if you don't get the SPG card, it's gone. Like what's a good way to explain this? So imagine there's a bottle of water, and then they're gonna just change the label on this bottle on the 12th, but you can no longer get this bottle anymore. So if you don't buy it now, then you're never going to be able to get this amount of water in the future, or in our case, it's points. Do you find it difficult to utilize certificate from Hilton at higher end properties? Not really, because it pretty much works anywhere. It's just if you're someone who's willing to spend like 5 minutes every day looking at availability, so instead of checking Facebook, instead of checking basketball scores or Twitter or whatever else, that's what I ended up realizing I started doing more, just checking availability for stuff. And if you have like 3 months, 6 months, even 1 month out from your vacation, you're going to find availability, or you should, at least. And I feel like a lot, like even I was looking at Conrad Bora Bora, July, I think there was only one date, and August there's only one date, but if you look every day for like 1 minute, you can set up a link for that. I don't know, it's not that bad. To clarify. So which SPG Marriott card do you need to get before it's gone forever? So it's the SPG personal card and the Marriott business card. And then the ones that are being changed with a better offer are going to be the Marriott's normal card right now that has like the $95 annual fee and the SPG business. If you have the Amex Hilton, should you get the SPG card? Is that a waste? So it's, again, not 75,000 points that you're never going to be able to get again. So for me, I think it's not a waste, but it's up to you. It's kind of like the Fairmont card or the Ritz card or all those other cards that we've talked about in the past. And if you add those all up, that's probably 500,000 points. So that's like $5,000 in value that you're never able to get because they're not available to you anymore. And yeah, like there's other cards that also have good offers, but if they're not disappearing, then you can always still get them afterwards. If you're over 524, I think that's literally the target market. Yeah, Roberts, so over 524, 5 months to get under. I'd probably grab it because for all we know, 524 becomes 548 in a few months if Chase feels like there's a recession or something. So I wouldn't hold off on it, but it depends on you. Your mileage may vary. Dylan, that feels like you're trying to steal my information, so not gonna answer that one. If you are 024 Cole, then I think it's fine. Um, I'd probably pick it up because you're probably doing the trifecta. You might do the Hyatt and the United, so you're technically burning one of those slots for the SPG. But I mean, that's not a bad pickup. I think you can go both ways. It just depends on whether you care about the Hyatt and United more or not, or the IHG card. Um, will you get the new card on the 12th? Yes, I believe so. So you might have to request it again, but I think they'll send it out to everyone. I feel like that's part of their marketing. Eugene or huge. If you're under, if you're under 524, probably the Marriott Business or both. You can do both and see if it triggers anything. Slick. Yeah, that's what I think a lot of people thought that they would start counting business cards towards 524, but I think their algorithm uses just your credit report, so that's why they don't look at your Chase business cards. But they obviously could if they wanted to. Is there any benefit in burning a 524 slot on the Chase Marriott? Doesn't Amex offer near identical benefits or sign up? Um, so again, it's whether you want to get two bonuses or not, and also whether the one lane rule comes into play. If you're only talking about the new Marriott card, so the new Bonvoy one from Chase, I'd probably wait to see what happens and see if the one lane rule is in play. Otherwise, grab the Hyatt card, grab the CSP, CSR, whatever cards that make sense for you. How many Chase business cards do you think is reasonable, and how far would you space them out? I think for most people, probably between 1 to 3, unless you actually have a well-established business. And then I think for most people, spreading it out probably 1 to 3 months each app makes sense. And yeah, so like you might do one this month, one next month, but then the one afterwards, probably wait 3 months or so. Otherwise, it feels a bit too tight, and also decrease your credit limits to make Chase applications approvals easier. If I get the SB, so Fireball, I'd read the blog post I wrote. If you Google AskSebby one lane rule, the SPG, the point of the lane is initially was If you get Marriott cards, you can't get SPG bonuses. If you get SPG cards, you can't get Marriott bonuses. So you could get both the SPG and the SPG Luxury because they're on one side. Can you stack Marriott and SPG free nights? Yes, that's what Mandy and I do. So we have like 4 or 5 of the Marriott and SPG cards and a Ritz card. And it works out really well if you have a player too, just to make your vacations less absurd because you can actually stay at properties for more than one night. Reckless, I've heard mixed things about them not doing that as much now, but I've also had SPG just randomly decrease my limits at times. When they felt like I had too high of a limit, which is fine with me because I'm not trying to buy like a tractor or buy a $50, like anything overly large, so not that big of a deal. Jonathan, yes, pretty much all chase cards are affected by 524 now, for our intents and purposes. So yes, even the Hyatt and the IHG. Will Amex SPG report to personal? No, it hasn't in the past, so I don't see them doing that. If you get the Chase Marriott and the SPG business in 2018 before they merged, then technically you will not be able to get any of the cards because you have a foot in each lane, but the hope is that the one lane rule stops coming into play. Hyatt or Marriott? I think Hyatt gives you so much more value, and I think that's a sweet spot that a lot of people either don't appreciate or just don't know about for chase points. Like you could easily get 2 to 3 cents per point in value if you transfer it over to Hyatt. Like there's properties that would cost $500 a night. I think we were looking at Washington for something, DC, and I think it's 12,000 or 15,000 points per night for the Grand Hyatt there, and the rack rate's $500. So that's an absurd value. No problem, Ronald. Chrissy, if you already have 3 ink business cards, yeah, I think it depends on you. I feel like it might be pushing a bit too hard after 3, and it's just as a sole prop, I feel like they push back a lot more because they're like, why do you need that many? And you could obviously get past that, but it's just it's a harder sell. HR, no. If you upgrade cards, you don't get the sign-up bonus, and also now you can never get the platinum bonus. So you burned 60 to 100,000 points. So that's, yeah, like $600 to $1,200 that you set on fire. Addy, for Dubai, if you have Marriott points and you want to try something unique, I would try Amaha for 2 nights while you still can book it at the 60,000 points per night. It's about an hour out, but you can it's not called Grab. I think they have Uber there. They also have another one that's like Uber-esque. I would recommend going out there for 2 nights. I think it's a pretty cool experience for 60,000 points. Pablo, would it make sense to apply for the SPG just for the points? I mean, yes, because in year 1 it makes sense. In year 2, if the free nights doesn't make sense, then you can evaluate it at that point. But yeah, 75,000 points is still 75,000 points. Who do you think has the better advantage of budget hotel options? Capital One Venture, City Prestige, or hotel branded cards? I think if you're a budget traveler, the Capital One card is going to be on the king of the hill because of the 20% effectively off hotels. Yeah, because if you don't care about status, or if you're at budget hotels, status doesn't really matter that much. Like, it's not like you're trying to get free breakfast or get upgraded to a really nice room. You're trying to maximize your savings. The Capital One, that's its superpower. As long as they keep the relationship with Hotels.com, it's pretty overpowered. Eric, best hotel card if I could only pick one was what I think you were asking. Would probably be the Hilton Aspire card because they're pretty much paying you to have the card. I'm pretty heavy on both currencies, Patrick. So like north of a million on both. Vietnam, there's a lot of Hyatt properties that are actually pretty cheap over there. Still don't understand which one to get, SPG or Chase Marriott. So the Chase Marriott's not disappearing. You can get that afterwards. The SPG is like out the door. Like it's going to exist if you have the card, and if you don't, then you don't have it. And yeah. Any experience of Hyatt card at MGM Vegas hotels? It's fine, but your status doesn't really go that far in Vegas. I think even if we talked about the diamond match yesterday, and even with that, they care more about how much you gambled than anything. If you're doing Motel 6s, I think the Capital One Venture or Venture One is probably the best pick. Does redeeming 4 nights get you to 5th night free? Yes. Do they give you a hard time for using the Chase Sapphire Reserve, using lounges in Hong Kong upon arrival? So you would use your Priority Pass card, you wouldn't use your CSR card. And they have an arrivals lounge, so I think that their intent is that. And again, like I feel like a lot of people misunderstand the point of lounges. For them, the lounge makes about $29 for you stepping in the door. So you can eat all the food you want. On their end, their rationale is that 99% of the people aren't going to eat more than $29 of food, because even with noodles, even with fish balls, whatever else, it's hard to eat $29 of food if you're buying it in bulk and reselling it. Any way to still get the Ritz card if you have a Marriott card, you can product change to it, but that's it. Your credit score doesn't drop by checking it. That's not how it works. I already have a Delta Amex card. Will getting the SPG card affect your chances of getting the 100K Platinum offer? So the fact that you already have an Amex card means that your odds of getting the 100K offer is low. So adding one extra card doesn't change that. If you're in purgatory, then bank bonuses. There is no way to get globalist status for Hyatt via matches, and Hyatt just in general doesn't like matching with anyone. Even if you have top tier Marriott status or Hilton status, they don't care. If you can't get the Marriott business, is the SPG business the next best thing? Yeah, I think it is, but I would wait until the new offer, the 100K offer comes out. Don't get it right now. There's no rush. Do you have any favorite US hotels to use the SPG anniversary night on? So I actually really like the LA Live across the street. There's two properties that are like a block away from LA Live. So basically across the street from Staples Center. So if you want to go there, if you find a very good game, I think it's just a nice way to enjoy the game and have food and drink afterwards without having to deal with traffic and stuff. Thank you, Eric, for the tip. What's my favorite airline for domestic? Right now it's Delta, because for SFO you actually get upgrades with Delta. United, you're fighting all the consultants, and yeah, unless you have 1K status, you're not gonna get upgrades. I'm gonna scroll down to the bottom because I feel like I'm pretty far up. Thank you, Eric. Isn't it better to wait for the SPG business? Yeah, that's what I said. Wait for the business, for the 100K offer, unless you want the personal card, which, again, because you can get both the personal and the business. SPG business is not going away, so that one's fine. When do we get the new Brilliant cards? I'm guessing within this month, but we'll see. So Fu, are the Diamond Lounges any good? I saw that it's $10 to go in, but I didn't really find any reviews or anything online, so I was kind of curious if it was interesting. Should you apply for the SPG card if you're under 524? Depends on how many slots you have and what other cards you would get instead. So it's your mileage may vary. Yeah, Walker, you feel free to tip. This is a free tip. Between SPG business, which one's better? Depends on what you're looking to do. I think SPG business is more interesting for the multipliers, but yeah. Would you be able to product change to the SPG once it's gone? We don't know. We'll see what happens. Five. There's no 100K offer for the SPG. But okay, yeah, go. You can wait and see what happens. If you have a credit card that is no longer available, do you have it forever or does it expire after a while? In the past, if you have a card, you get to keep it. There's been times where if the relationship has ended, then they might product change you to another card. So the Chase Fairmont card is a very good example where they had the Fairmont card and then they moved everyone to Chase Sapphire Preferred afterwards because Fairmont wanted to end the relationship. Ethan, is there any reason not to get the Schwab card beforehand? Most people, because with the Schwab Platinum, you probably don't want to get rid of it. And that means you're pretty much keeping that card, and also if you're getting the other variations, then you'll have two platinum cards at the same time, which is fine, which still might make sense, but for some people it's not. They don't want to pay that many annual fees. Since Chase will release a no annual fee Marriott card in the summer, isn't it better to get the Chase card so you have a downgrade path? That is a good argument. I think it's not. My main concern is that the Chase no annual fee card will not have a good sign-up bonus. And for me, and I think a lot of people, it's not really about the downgrade path for hotel cards. It's about whether it has a free anniversary night. So the fact that it has a downgrade path, it's probably not going to have a free night, and the free nights is where I've gotten a lot of outsized value. So especially going to Southeast Asia, you're paying that $95 for the annual fee, but you'll probably be able to sit at a hotel that's $200 a night. Does American Airlines have any transfer partners? You can book a lot of One World flights with American Airlines points, so they do work pretty well. It's finding availability, which is a bit tough. So you could book something like Cafe Business or First, but it's just finding availability is going to be a pain given that they sold off a lot of their inventory for 2019 already. Thank you, California. Thank you, Californication, for the tip. So, Chris, can you get a business card if you don't actually have a business? Most people qualify as sole proprietorships, even if you don't think you have a business. So, even if you do something else on the side, that's likely going to qualify. And I would look into your state's definition of a sole proprietorship. So, for a lot of people, doing computer repair, doing anything else on the side that generates income or has the potential of generating income would qualify. Afterwards for both bonuses. I covered this in the other video about the Bonvoy program, but you should be. It really depends on if the 1 lane rule still stays around. If it does, then you can't. If it doesn't, then you're fine. Brandon, what do I value Bonvoy points at right now? I need to look through the numbers for the recent changes to the nights. Would I recommend the Marriott or the Hyatt? I would recommend the Hyatt. I think the Hyatt sign-up bonus offers a lot of value, and then I think it's a slightly better keeper card. Is the Amex Platinum hard to get approved? Not really, because they're not risking that much, because you have to pay off the card in full every month. Tony, where did I find the bottle of Hibiki? I have a bunch of alerts set up for Bevmo, so whenever they get new things in, so I have a certain, like 5 different items that I'm looking for. When they get it in, I just go there and buy it. I think I got it for like 127 or something very cheap, like the rack rate, or like the normal price, not the increased price. GameStop credit card, I'm guessing it would. It just depends on if you can use that elsewhere. Good to know about the lounges, so just free drinks and appetizers. For Alaska and American Airlines, you can use those to book with their partners. You don't have to transfer it out, you just book. You can own Jeremy Davis. You can only product change within families, and I think I have a video and a post talking about the families. So you can only product change within Southwest cards, and it has to be another personal card. Would I upgrade the gold Skymiles card to get 15,000 miles, or would I get the platinum card instead? I would get the platinum card because by upgrading, you now cannot get the the sign-up bonus for the platinum Skymile Delta. So 15,000 versus the sign-up offer. Sign-up offer is going to be higher. Let's scroll to the bottom. Thank you, Vikram, for the tip. Would I recommend getting the Chase Sapphire Preferred if you already have the Platinum? Yep, good bonus, and then no annual fee, and then you can downgrade it to Freedom or Freedom Unlimited. And the CSR, if you already have a lot of those Platinum perks, the Priority Pass and stuff. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna go at the 40-minute mark because I feel like didn't realize how fast time passed. Hi Seb, which path is better, Marriott or SPG? Considering I have neither, I would probably do SPG because I feel like the bonuses in total are going to be higher. Dean, what other cards would I recommend? The Chase Sapphire Preferred, Freedom, good sign-up bonuses, and you can downgrade after. SG, I think the rebrands will not affect it because I think American Express is pretty good about this at this point. But you can always test it out and see what happens. So there is an argument that it might make sense to close down the SPG luxury card and try to reopen the new card to see if it works. But I feel like it's a weird gamble that's not really worth it. Are the AVO's cards worth staying under 524 for? It really depends on where you travel and how you travel. It's pretty open ended. Trey, fill out a consultation on our site. There's a tab on there. Is the CSR considered a business card? No. The reason it's not showing on your report is it's probably delayed 2 or 3 months. Would you pick the CSP between City Premier and CSP? If you're under 524, I would get the Chase cards first because think about it this way: if you only have one slot left for 524, if you get the City card, then you can't get the Chase bonus. If you get the Chase bonus, you can still in 3 months' time get the City bonus. So that's would you burn 50,000 Chase points is the way I think of it. And maybe for you, you don't care, and that's fine. But for me and for a lot of people, that's still 500 in cash, or if you transfer to Hyatt, that's $1,000 to $1,500 in Hyatt stays. Matthew, canceling a card before the fee is due, I would still wait the 12 months and then cancel within 30 days of the fee hitting because you don't want to get blacklisted. It's not worth the effort. You already paid the annual fee, so just wait. Patrick, yeah, that's pretty much my mentality that we don't know what the future holds, so it makes sense to get the bonuses that you want sooner rather than later. Yeah, per shot, you're not supposed to downgrade cards within the first year because a lot of other issuers claw back your bonuses and blacklist you for doing that. So you're supposed to wait until 12 months. If you only have one more slot for American Express, SPG, or Hilton, I would do SPG first. Hiltons aren't leaving, so again, 75,000 points that you can get now, or if you don't get it, then you can't ever get them again. You can always, Hiltons are going to be there. I think the personal Alaska, I think both the personal and the business Alaska card offers the companion ticket, so you can look into that. But yeah, I believe both do. Lisa, I did a video on the companion pass, and I think it makes sense if you fly enough. Yeah, you can get both bonuses. They're different cards, different products. Okay, one more question, and then. Billy asked, and this is going to be the last question, whether I think the SPG card makes sense if you have no American Express cards. meaning that it's your first card. So on one hand, you can get 75,000 points that you can never get again because the card will not exist. On the other hand, you can get 100,000 points. But on the first hand, you're getting 60,000 60,000 Amex points. So the cost of getting those 75,000 those 75,000 SPG points is 40,000 Marriott points. I think it does, but your mileage may vary. So another way to think of it is, would you rather have 40,000 Amex points or would you rather have 75,000 SPG points? Okay, gonna head out.